The following program contains adult language, poor taste in jokes, racial slurs, political slurs, slants, and all sorts of things that, if you are sensitive and have a delicate constitution, you should probably go watch Teletubbies. You were warned.
I ain't drunk, I'm just drinking.
But you're so high.
Oh man, you know I ain't high.
But you're so high.
Yeah, well I just take a little sip every now and then.
But you're so high.
You ought to be ashamed of
Stay
yourself.
drunk all
Oh,
the
come
time.
on now, you all don't feel like that.
Bam! Hey kids, happy Sunday night. Sunday nights would be so much happier if they weren't followed up by Monday mornings. But, you know, whatever. It's been a long week, and just fuck me. It's, you know, where do you start? I've been kind of MIA all week. I've been doing a little bit of things, and did a couple gallery builds I put up today. What was it? What was that thing? Norris, that overpriced cool black frame I did, and that Bee Crow that just went up a second ago. And those turned out really cool. That was nice. But yeah, the week, not last week, but the week before, I was out on a business trip all week in Florida. Got home, got to the airport, got this head cold from fucking hell, and just, you know, and then Saturday or whatever day it was, I gave it to one of my babies, and then she got sick, and then Tuesday, my 4-year-old started throwing up at school, and it was just like, oh, fuck me. You know, that's how this whole week went. And then, camera's all goofy. Anyway, and, yeah, then that's how that went. And then the weekend was just kind of, you know, kind of everybody recovering and just... what a fucking mess, man. It's really? But on a good note, we sold our first build for Patriot Blades, our first auction build. And this is a funny story. The first bird, I wanted to be special, right? And my brother who is in the club, his name is Trevor. He's out in Nebraska and he's a vet. And he's like, and I told you guys this story before, but he's like, I want to, you know, donate the frame and the ESC and the motors. And I'm like, okay, great, I'll do the rest. And this was a unique one because it was a 100% donation. So everything I put into it, everything he put into it, he didn't want money back, I didn't want money back. Bam, we sold it. And this is it. It's actually shipping out tomorrow. This is the America. You guys may have seen the gallery photos my smoking hot wife did, but she turned out really, really fucking nice. I just got done putting the final touches on it tonight, built him a far view that's real sharp, and got everything dialed in and tweaked. All he has to do is put his receiver in, and this is going to a brother of mine in Michigan, and which isn't real far from me. And funny story, right? We get to talk, and I say, here's my phone number. Go ahead and text me. And he texts me, and I said, so... where did you hear about the auction? You know, this 100% of this went to Semper Fi fund for the Marines, or, you know, military. And I donated that like the day after I got the money. And he said, I said, did you hear about us, you know, Patriot Blades and the, you know, these gallery builds and whatnot from my YouTube channel, or did you hear from it from the webpage? And he goes, no, fucking eBay. Like, really? Fucking eBay? Yeah, so I need to do a better job of advertising these, because the next one, and I'm not sure which one's going up next, probably gonna do another auction bird tomorrow. Anyway, that's gonna go to St. Jude's Children's Hospital. And so, yeah, I'm gonna have to have my friends help me advertise it on Facebook and things like that, because I did a piss poor job. And I love the guy. I made a friend, cool guy. We've been talking, and I'm thankful for that. But it's like, fuck, I really was hoping he said, oh, I found Patriot Blade's webpage online and did it. You know, I was like, no, I was typed in America on eBay, and, you know, boom, here this thing is. I'm like, fuck, which is not how I want to go. But anyway, bam, brother, you're getting this tomorrow. Turned out gorgeous. I love it. Yeah, so anybody that watches the channel, especially club members, if you guys have Facebook and whatnot, I have Instagram now. So if you want to look up JJ Roto Geek on Instagram, I post a lot of these funky builds that I do on there before they even go to my YouTube channel, which is cool. I finally finished this fucking thing too. This is just off topic, but this is Atomic Quad CS2. I started this, and I build birds in like 45 minutes, you know, and I started this thing, I don't know, a couple months ago, and I had the VTX hanging out of it and whatever, and yeah, turned out kind of cool, kind of neat. What else did I do this week? I did the Mocha JJ, which is that little Mocha headhunter. It's in the house, so I can't show you a picture of it. We did the Mocha Griff. Yeah, a bunch of stuff. Bunch of builds this week. So yeah, very, very cool. I want to welcome 2 new members to the club as well. Rod and Mike, you know, up in Michigan. Very, very cool. Glad to have you on board. Rod just joined up today, and then Mike was the other day. So we're going to get those 2 going, and that's taken off really well. The webpage is pretty much done. Need to get the club birds up there and all this other stuff. I haven't watched any or heard of any Bardwell, and I do watch Bardwell stuff. When my guys say, hey, you need to go check this out because it's absolutely fucking ridiculous, I'll go watch Bardwell, but that's about the only time I do. I did have a long talk with Drone Mesh this week a couple times about people trying to rip shit off and whatever, so he's kind of cool guy, so shout out to you, brother. Yeah, so that's it. I'm trying to think if there's anything really to harp on. It's really been a pretty mild week of just recovery and bullshit, and one of the things I do want to talk about, and this is not a new thing. Hang on, I didn't drink. Oh. Bruce Simpson, who I absolutely adore. I'm sure the guy doesn't know who the hell I am, but Bruce Simpson in RC Model Reviews, and he also has a second channel called XJet. Check him out, RC Model Reviews. He's in New Zealand. Love the man. I have been watching him since day one of getting into the hobby, just about, I think. And I learned just about everything I know from trial and error and just doing it myself. Because I started out building GPS drones, not quads, and, you know, I wasn't even doing FPV, and, you know, I'm an electronics guy, so I just kind of figured the shit out. But I did used to watch a lot of YouTube. You know, when I first got into it, I was like, wow, this shit's so cool. And I was watching Flight Test, those boys in Ohio here, and Bruce Simpson, and even Bardwell, believe it or not, because back then he wasn't quite what he is now. You know, whatever. And then, you know, it's funny, I started the YouTube, my channel, which is just for fun. You know, it's never going to be a big mecha thing. But now I notice I never watch YouTube anymore. You know, it's like, I watch like Top 10 All Greatest and List 25 and all this shit that's non-quad related. And I rely on my boys in the club to tell me what's going on. But anyway, one of the few that I still do watch, I watch Drone Mesh once in a blue moon. And I watch, you know, no offense, brother, I'm just busy as shit. And then, yeah, I watch Bruce Simpson. As soon as he puts something new on, bam, I watch it because I just love the man. I think he's great. If anybody should be... Here's my opinion on Patreon. I made a joke the other day. What bird was it? I think it was this guy, the Mocha Griff, which just turned out absolutely smoking, right? And I made a joke at the end of the video, and nobody made a comment about it, which really kind of cracked me up. I was like, this thing's faster than Bardwell waking up in the morning checking his Patreon account. Bam! I thought that was fucking funny. But I think, and I'll never have a Patreon because that's not why I do this, but and I've talked to a couple guys that, one dude on my channel who said he supported Patreon for Stu down in Australia, UAV Futures, who I think's a good guy. And I've talked to him once or twice, and but he's like, you know, this guy wanted to pull his Patreon from him, and I was like, you know, I think if you're going to give anybody money for something, it should be Bruce Simpson. And the reason I say that is, one, the man is smart. He's an electrical engineer by trade. Bam, I'm a robotic engineer by trade. You know, it's kind of in our blood. We do the electrical stuff. We do soldering. We do things like that. And he's a brilliant guy. He's probably forgotten more than I know. I'm in robotics, but that man's been in the shit forever. And he's retired, you know, and it is his sole source of income. Not really so much by choice. I mean, I'm sure it is to a point, but he's not some young cunt like fucking Bardwell or anybody else. It's just, oh, I want to quit my job and play with toys for a fucking living. I think it's a little stupid to do that. I just do. I love birds. I have a wall full of birds. I have a club with the best people in the world in it. I build 2 or 3 birds a week that are showcase birds and whatever else. I love it. It's fun. But it's fun. It's not a job. Excuse me. I'm not going to supplement my life by it, nor do I want to. And Bruce, I just think, brings so much to the hobby, and he's retired, and the man's 24/7, you know. And I think I told my friend that. I was like, if you're going to pull Patreon from anybody like Bardwell's of the world or whoever, and you still want to donate the $5 a month or $2 a month or whatever it is, give it to Bruce Simpson at RC Model Reviews. Fucking guy, love him. There's not many people where I can sit down and watch, and this is no ego implied. It's just I've been in electronics and robotics for 23 years. There's not many people where I can sit down and like, wow, I didn't know that. That's fucking awesome. Bruce Simpson's one of those guys where I have sat down just like, oh, bam, and I go out in the garage, poof, and I do it, and it's fucking awesome. But anyway, that's my rant on him. Love him dearly. Like I said, guy doesn't know who the fuck I am, which is cool. But I was watching one of his shows that came up the other day, one of his YouTube videos, and he was doing a rant, and his rants are far better than mine. But he was talking about public safety and quads and regulations. And you guys have heard me bitch about this before. You notice in the United States, ever since FAA got slammed with that lawsuit for what the fuck was it? A lot of money. I can't remember how much it was. But when they got slammed with that, you know, all of a sudden, poof, you haven't heard shit. You haven't heard anything about people regulating Yoda or Bardwell's skirt or any of that bullshit, right? And it's like, yeah, see how it is when that shit turns, you know, when it goes back on the government, bam, oh, well, shit, now let's be quiet. When it's the little guys like us, well, yeah, fucking slam them. And Bruce brought up a few really, really good points, and you should go watch that video. I think it's the last one he put on, and ding, that's pretty cool. And one of the things was, it's like, you know, if regulators had quads and they flew quads like we did, you wouldn't see any regulation on them. He brought up a point, and this is something that I have thought about many times in my life. He's like, okay, you know, if most speeding accidents kill people because they're driving too fast, you know, you're doing 100 miles an hour, you've had a couple too many roto twisters, wrap your car around or your bike around a tree, bam, you're dead. And you know, why don't they regulate cars? Why don't they build cars that top out at 65 miles an hour or 55 or wherever country you're in? And you would save a fuck ton of lives. Why don't they do that? They don't do it because too many people would bitch. Majority rules, basically. And he made a comment about, well, the regulators have cars, so they're not going to regulate themselves. They don't have quads. They don't have drones. You don't see Trump or anybody else out there flying their fucking drone around the White House, right? And I've thought that so many fucking times. I think, okay, not to call a cow, which is what I do. I drink, right? I like my occasional, whatever, roto twister. But it's like, how many people die a year from alcohol consumption, cirrhosis of the liver, drinking and driving, drinking and fucking? I mean, how many kids are brought into the world that way? I mean, most of you probably, most of me. You know, it's like, do they regulate alcohol? No. They tax it so they can make more money off of it, but that's it. People know gambling is wrong. Well, not wrong, but a lot of people go belly up and they have gambling addictions. Why don't they outlaw gambling? They lose too much tax dollars on it. Same thing with cigarettes. I was a big smoker for a very long time until I turned into this wussy stuff. And same fucking thing. I smoke Camel non-filters. They were $10 a pack almost, I think, when I quit. Very expensive. They're like the most expensive cigarette you could buy. And it's like, really? They cost like $2 to make, but with all the taxes, the government makes too much money on them. So these things that are inherently dangerous, nobody has ever been killed by a quadcopter yet, to date. I know of a couple stupid people who've been hit by them. I'm one of them. I hit myself in the back with one once. People hit themselves in the face, whatever. If you fuck yourself up, fine. Nobody cares, right? But it's like, really, they want to regulate everything down to these little tiny fucking, you know, oh, well, it's over 250, you know, 250 grams. Really? Fucking seriously? I have been hit by bigger shit from my old lady throwing shit at me when I drank too much. I mean, it's fucking ridiculous. But it's like, well, we're just going to, you know, take all of your tax dollars and all the bullshit and everything else, and we're not going to do shit that saves lives. We're not going to, like, make abortion illegal. We're not going to, you know, make cars go slower so people don't get killed. We're not going to ban alcohol. Not, mind you, I don't want them to, but it would make sense. Instead, we're going to take your tax dollars and we're going to regulate toys. Really? Really? You're going to regulate fucking toys? That's what these are. As much as we hate to admit it at times, because we think we're all like Bardwell. Look at Bardwell, for instance. He thinks he's just a goddamn genius because he figured out how to, you know, steal somebody's flight controller and put their name on it. Whatever. It's still a fucking toy. At the end of the day, I'm still watching the kids while mama's making dinner and still doing my job the next day and whatever the case may be. Unless you're actually making components. If you work for a Brother Hobby or you know, whatever you do, own a hobby shop, whatever the case may be, the 99% of us in the populace, it's a toy. And so we are paying all these tax dollars for all these people that are smarter than us to regulate toys. Am I the only person that sees this as being fucked? I mean, this is like beyond Bardwell wearing a skirt fucked up. This is just... Really? Go do something with the world. Fucking kill ISIS or do, you know, hire people like JJ RotoGeek and all these other idiots. Actually, just about everybody in my club. And we'll make quads and we'll fly them over to ISIS and shoot them or something. I don't know. You know, but it's like, come on. Get a grip. And that's what I love about America. Because in America, the bureaucracy has flipped over. Now the FAA is under scrutiny. So the rest of us are fine for a while until FAA figures a way to bullshit out of it like Mrs. Clinton did with her fucking emails. You know, all they got to do is call her up. It's like, hey, Hillary, how the fuck did you get out of that? Well, you know, I did this, and I sucked that guy, and you know, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, that's what the FAA will do, and boom, they'll just lie low. Everybody will fucking forget about it. And 6 months from now, they're going to regulate quads. It's like, I will be the first one to stand up. It's like, no, take that money that all these people are giving you for your dumb ass to have a job and stop wasting time regulating toys. This thing is not going to take down an Apache helicopter. I work in aerospace a lot. I promise you. This flies into an Airbus. Even if it flies into the engine, yeah, it might fuck up the engine a little bit, but it ain't going to bring it down. And trust me, you ain't flying that high anyway. Does anybody know what happens to a prop machine when you get to 10,000 feet? Go look it up. Go look up air pressure and atmospheric pressure at 10,000 feet. You ain't going too high. Anyway, that's my rant. I will put out some cool shit this week. I'll try anyway. I'm going to try to get the drone wing done, doing a couple other little fidgets, fix my brother's drone for him, mailing out the America, going to put another bird up on for the gallery and all that stuff. So very cool. Happy Sunday night, guys. May your week be blessed. Have a roto twister. Life is good. Bam. Keep shining side up. Bye.
Bam, JJ. Bam, JJ. Hope you like fishing.